Seven up. Welcome to Rewind, a Star Trek podcast with Haley and Sara. Today we will talk Trek, likely curse, and maybe say some inappropriate stuff. So listener discretion is advised. If you are looking for something to tickle your ears and soothe you to sleep,
or if you're looking for a discussion, nay, debate on which is the coolest Beanie Baby,
what about a podcast that details every breed of bird that there is?
Oh man, that would go forever.
Possibly.
Or are you looking for a podcast that is accidentally just silence because no one hit record?
I just looked at my recording button at the top to make sure. Oh, well, then this is not a podcast for you. But, you know, like I said before, I'm Sara, that's Haley, so someone cue the music, please. All right. Before we go any further, and before we dive into a whole host of nonsense, we'd like to take a minute and just sit right there. I'll tell you how we became the prince of a town called Bel Air. Anyway, we'll take a minute to thank our sponsors, Fansets. You know them, you love them. They make amazing pins of various themes, such as the world of Irwin Allen, horror, my favorite, Harry Potter, and of course, Star Trek. Haley, horror. Like scary movies. I don't know.
Yeah.
But did you know, Haley, that they got so many new pins? Like Prodigy related pins, including Delta pins and characters, plus a woman of Trek Tendi from Lower Decks and Esri Dax.
Ah.
Yeah. So, you know, we love that they sponsor us. They love Trek. They love you. We love you. And so if you love yourself and you love us and you want to use our special code, Trek Geeks, in all caps with no space at checkout, you get 10% off your order. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself 2022.
Thanks, Fansets. Did you know what their pins got?
Character.
Yeah, she said it. Yep. Okay, so round table. I would love I'd love to start with, I'd love to hear from you. I just spent 4 hours talking, so it's your turn.
Oh, nice. I just have a quick little update, but and what was I going to share I was going to save it for the round table. My walk.
Something on your desk.
Something on my desk. So I have not been going into the office, but I decided to go into the office because I needed to pick up a document that had been marked up, and also apparently there was something on my desk from my boss, and so I was like, I'm going in. I'm going to see what this is. And so I ended up getting this really cute little pin that Bonnie went in on designing with a local designer. So cute.
Fun.
And it basically is just like a pin saying thanks for like killing myself over the pandemic. So that was so nice. And then I also saw a paper bag that was closed with a red, shiny, like sparkly smiley face sticker and a little business card that said, thanks from your senior executive. And so I was like, all right, sweet. So I'm like, whatever, I'm going to look at this when I get home. So I get home, like knock it out, get the bag out. In the bag, are you ready?
I am ready.
2 chocolates from last year's Halloween, an Arrow and a Smarties, a generic thought on appreciation printed out and like snipped and then just thrown into the bag, missing a period at the end, tea bags, and a yellow no-name brand highlighter.
Are you kidding me?
No, man.
Was this done as an ironic joke by somebody in the office, or was that legitimate?
That's it.
Wow. How long had that been on your desk?
Who knows? Not Halloween. Like less than a month.
I would rather have had the 45 cents that stuff cost. Like,
It was like, it's like they went home and they were like, okay, got to find something that I can give away. Like,
how can I offend my staff?
yeah, like each of the senior executive went home and were like, wait, I've got these tea bags that are like individually packaged. How about those?
What flavor are they even? Like, there's no tabs on them.
Yeah. They're just square generic. Like, luckily it's Earl Grey, but like still.
How fresh is it? When you see the chocolate, you're gonna start thinking like, oh, is the highlighter dry? Like, you know what I mean? There's no cap. There's a roll of toilet paper. Actually, during the pandemic, when it was first on, that would have been a treat.
That would have been funny. that would have been funny.
That would have been excess. It would have been on the news. Like, oh, the government's giving away all the toilet paper. We gotta shut them down. Oh,
totally.
Man. It would have been rioting in the streets. Wow.
So there you go. What an adventure,
right?
And then, like, last night, I wrote this little update in Trello here. Holy shirt! There's a Trello app, life changer. I was super lazy, read stoned on the couch, and didn't want to go get my laptop to make notes on the episode. So then I was like, wait, Sara is often reading things from her phone when we record. Is there an app? And so I found it and I downloaded it. And
there's an app for that.
There's an app.
Amazing. So you know who else has an app? Trek Geeks Podcast Network.
Say what?
Say what? Say what? That's amazing. Apps.
They're there to make your life easier. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing this. I think I mentioned to you that I'm doing face yoga every day now, face exercises as part of my like 5-week get shredded for STLV.
George Clooney of you.
Right. And my face is feeling pretty good.
Nice.
This morning, not only did my 5 exercises, but then I had like the jade roller going and I was just like massaging the shit out of my face.
Love
and
it.
I'm feeling like I'm noticing it. The one woman on YouTube that I've been using, she's got some exercises, like one where you you stick out like your lower jaw so your back teeth go behind them, like you're doing an underbite.
Yeah.
And then you lift your head up. And then you go down. So it helps strengthen those muscles in your neck. Yeah. And then you do one where it's like pretend you have like a straw and then you're like puckering your lips and then like pushing them out and hold and do it like 10 times. Like,
whoa. Yeah.
And you work the lines around your lips. And there's one where you do like an O and like you're trying to suck everything in. And then there's ones for your eyes where you're just doing like the eyes, like just moving the ones below. So you're just doing like
the eyes have it.
Oh, and then forehead ones where you're like raising them up, but you keep your hand on your forehead so you don't get wrinkles. And there's one where she's like holding her temple and going like this. And you're just watching these videos, being like, if somebody walked in now and they were like, "What are you watching?" You're like, "Is this a chick possessed by the devil?"
Really.
I was kind of like laughing.
Face yoga.
It's face yoga. It's supposed to take years off. Doctors hate her. What else have I got? I wrote myself a note for the personal update that is, I literally put it's in all caps and chiller font. Stay positive, no shit about the world falling apart. So if you're looking for a podcast that just points out the obvious shit in the world, this is not the podcast for you. I just want to talk about all the good stuff that's happening right now because you know what, that's life. So I for those listening, some of the updates from my summer, how I spent my summer vacation so far. I took golf lessons for a month, an all-women's golf class. My first ever game and only game as of to date was on the hottest day we had of the year yet. And the highlight for me was finding a hot pink golf ball, which I have kept. I also enjoyed a cold Lucky Lager after at a park bench with the coach and his wife and some other players. So it was very summery. I booked STLV finally for Brad and myself. I decided I wasn't going to go because everything's expensive and I was just nervous to travel. And then I was just like, not like of COVID, but just like how crazy stressful travel is right now because all the airlines have collapsed in on themselves and everyone's luggage is in like 9 different countries. But then I was just like, fuck it, I gotta rip off the band-aid. I really want to go. So we're gonna go on the Thursday to the Monday and stay at Bally's. I'm gonna participate in the craft swap with some of those different pendants I'd made and some of the embroideries I've made over the years. So I'm really excited to like take those and trade them for other cool stuff that people will be making. I'll probably do that on the Friday or the Saturday. I already made a reservation for food on the Thursday because we really want to go to Chef Roy's place. Okay, you know how I always talk about that movie Chef that I love?
Yeah.
And then I was saying, like, on Netflix, Jon Favreau actually has a show too called The Chef Show. And it's him and Chef Roy, a guy who invented the Kogi Crack in LA. It's his place. He's got a place in Vegas at the MGM. So I made a reservation so we can go have some Korean barbecue tacos or something like that, or try his ramen or something. So that's exciting. Brad and I are really into Lego right now. I got the Harry Potter Grimmauld Place Lego. It's over 1,000 pieces. It moves. So you like have like the building and then you open it and there's Grimmauld Place coming through like in the movie because it's like they had to like do that spell so you could see where Sirius Black lives. It's super dope.
Cool.
And Brad ordered the DeLorean from Back to the Future and we're waiting for that to arrive.
Like the Lego kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, not an
actual DeLorean. No, he's still looking for one of those. Always. And TV wise, I followed your recommendation and watched Yellow Jackets, and I loved it, and I can't wait for the next season. And now we're doing a rewatch of Ted Lasso, and it's so good. I like Coach Beard.
You have Apple TV?
Yeah.
Have you just got it? Severance?
Not yet. It's on the list.
Oh,
it's got the guy from Parks and Rec, right?
Yeah, it does.
Cones of Dunshire.
And some other people that you'll recognize for sure.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. It's definitely on the list of things to watch.
Yeah, we'll love to talk about it with you when you're.
Ooh, is it going to be a podcast? Severance / Hudson and Rex. No.
Oh my god.
My morning show when I'm just having my coffee. That's me in a nutshell. Okay, so Comic-Con in San Diego just happened, as you may or may not have known.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, they just had it. I think it was their first one since COVID, to be honest.
Yeah, makes sense. It's usually a pretty big deal and it brings a lot of people together.
It brings a lot of people together. One of the things that stood out was, you know how it's like usually a 4-day event and this type of thing, usually like Saturday's the day, kind of like an STLV.
Yeah.
Star Trek was slated for like Saturday, 1:00, like prime time. And they had like gotten all like the main hall, like all the decorations. It was Star Trek, like, because every year there's like something is kind of like the trend. Like, is it Marvel? Is it Walking Dead? What's the Star Wars? It was Star Trek. And they even had a 10 forward where people with tickets could go have drinks, and some of the actors were there, like Anson Mount and stuff. And so there was all these big announcements, and it was very Star Trek heavy. And so I sent you an email and I said specifically don't look at it. So if you open it, you're going to see photos of the cast for Picard season 3, and Worf and LeVar look good.
What? Whoa, Michael?
Right? People are like not loving the white hair, and I'm like, hello, he looks good. And so does LeVar. I mean, they all look fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but those two stood out for me big time. And then I sent you a link, which will go to the trailer, the teaser trailer they did for Picard season 3. So if you want to open it, you can totally watch it.
Okay, I'm watching it right now. I guess you won't be able to hear it, but I'm watching it. LeVar. God, I really got to finish season 2. There he is! Michael Dorn is like so skinny. Yay. Also, where's Brent Spiner at?
Well, Data died.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the whole reason you like Nemesis and you shouted it at the rooftop the last time we talked?
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is all well and good, but here's the real plot hole. Where's Data?
It's also confusing because we had Brent Spiner playing in season 2 of Picard and season 1 of Picard, right? So it kind of throws you off a little bit, right?
But I'm okay with that. Like if they want to bring him back for that kind of thing.
Well,
But
B4 could be a surprise.
take
B4
him
was
out
a
of the
thing,
drawer.
right? Take him out of the drawer, polish him off, dust him off, put on his bow tie. So that was a big one that came out. And the other big news,
he said, like a poop. Okay.
Who does number 2 work for? Then there was a panel that was like, and also, you know what, people, if I'm wrong about this, like fuck off. Like I'm just doing the best I can. I didn't watch anything live. I'm going by like, you know,
headlines,
telephone game, a telephone, right? Like I read
Purple Monkey.
I went to 4chan to get all my information. 8chan. Don't do that.
No.
There was a panel. It had like Anson Mount and like Strange New Worlds folks talking about season 2, you know, like what's going to happen or whatever, what they think could happen, making jokes about Anson Mount's hair becoming a meme and all this kind of stuff.
Huge.
It's amazing. It's got a pompadour, like a fucking greaser out of the 50s.
Totally.
And then while they were doing their panel, it was interrupted by Tawny and Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid, the two voice actors for Lower Decks. They came running out, and Jack Quaid is the one from The Boys, and his father is Randy Quaid.
Okay.
And no, which one's the
Dennis Quaid?
Dennis Quaid is yeah. So Jack Quaid is like, he's the voice of Boimler, the main character on Lower Decks. Cool. And then Tawny is the main character on Lower Decks, the girl, I can't remember her name right now.
That's all right.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Either way, the big announcement is that they're going to do a crossover, and they're thinking that the voice actors will be their physical actors in an episode of Lower Deck or of Strange New Worlds. So maybe Strange New Worlds will have like an episode where they go into the future really quick, because Lower Decks takes place around the time just after Nemesis, right?
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, how's this going to look? Is it going to be like Roger Rabbit, where there's going to be cartoons running around with people, or is it going to be the cartoon actors showing up, or will Strange New Worlds get turned into characters for a real episode? Is it a holodeck thing? Like, what is it going to be? So either way, there's going to be a standalone episode in season 2 where they're going to have those two people coming over in some kind of weird crossover that's supposed to be really funny. So I'm really excited for that.
That's cool. I am loving Strange New Worlds. Just finished it. So
spoiler alert, folks, but super good. Who's your favorite character? Who's standing out for you right now with some awesome folks?
Who do I like the best? I like the nurse.
Yes, Chapel.
I like her. I like Spock. And I like I think we like the same chick, the security chick.
Yeah, Laan Noonien Singh.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Her and Nurse Chapel totally stand out for me, for sure. I love the weird sexual tension between Chapel and Spock.
Yeah.
I'm really digging it. Like, I'm very much, as the kids say, I ship them. Like, just, he's all pent up and she's kind of like, come on, have some fun. And then he's all like, maybe I should have some fun. And she's like, no, you're supposed to be pent up. And it's like, oh, just do it already.
I know.
When they, so good when they kissed. And I was like, there's more there. You know there is. And then his stupid old fiance was like, it would be logical for, fuck off. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Totally. I love to hate it. I hate to love it, right? It's so good.
Totally. It's like just enough of the like little drama romance.
Yeah, it's like Mulder and Scully for seasons and seasons, or Elliot and Stabler, or Elliot Stabler and Stabler and Benson. Oh my god.
Yeah, totally.
Ugh. Do it already.
Love it.
And so Lower Decks season 3 starts August 25th, the Thursday that is STLV. So I'm really excited to maybe watch it, or at least
That's
be able
cool.
to. Yeah, it's so funny, and just like knowing they're going to have more guest stars again, like because they had John Delancey reprise his role as Q, and like Frakes was there, and like it's such a funny show.
That's so awesome.
And the other thing that stood out was Alex Kurtzman revealed that they're working on the next 2 Star Trek shows, and a fan asked if there would be any female-led spin-offs, hinting kind of like 7 of 9 or Dr. Crusher or something, and he said, first of all, I'd say anything's possible, and I'll say without revealing too much, you can certainly expect to see more Star Trek shows with female leads. So folks are kind of unsure if these are like references to Section 3031 and then the rumored Starfleet Academy show, or if those are considered like, we know we're going to do those. And there's two other ones. Because I think some people are like, we want a Raffi and Seven of Nine show, or we want like, Dr. Crusher. Like everyone's just like, we want, Kira, like who knows? Oh, and speaking of Kira, happy birthday, Nana Visitor. It's her birthday today.
Aw. I laughed out loud in public when I remembered you telling the story about meeting her and you were wearing a dickie underneath like a baseball
jersey. Yeah. I had a Bajoran earring.
Oh, God. It really suits you. What do you mean?
It was such a...
I'm one of you.
I was like 11 or 12. Oh, man. So I would have had like really awkward pre-braces teeth. Probably had my headgear of the spikes I used to have to help my lisp. Amazing. What else stood out? Lots of new comic books. We're doing a Lower Deck comic book. And why does it say that this meeting is going to end in 10 minutes? It's just you and me.
Yeah, no, it won't. I don't think. It
says running out of time. This meeting will end in 10 minutes. Oh, well, we'll just do another recording if we have to. But a new comic book, like a Lower Deck comic book, and I think there's going to be a Benjamin Sisko-led comic book, and that was the big thing. They showed the trailer for season 3 of Lower Decks, and they go to Deep Space Nine, and they did it like just like the opening theme, where it's like they flying over it, and like the character says like, she's not ready to dock yet, so just keep circling and pretend that you're really impressed by the pylons. It's so funny. People were going nuts for it. So
good. That sounds good.
Awesome. So I'm going to take a pause here and I'm going to stop this recording and open up a new one because obviously something's changed with Zoom and it's super dumb and I hate it. And
that's fine. I have to pee anyway.
Perfect. I'll meet you back here at 5:10.
Love it.
You have 5-minute break. Bio break, as they say in government.
I already took my headphones out. Don't know.
Perfect.
Fuck you.
And we're back. Part 2.
Like we never left.
Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. Okay, so moving right along, insert Sarah doing a robot dance. We're gonna talk about an episode of Star Trek. TNG. It's frame of mind. A great frame of mind. I'm in a frame of mind right now that I want to talk about frame of mind. The Netflix rating for this episode is TV PG, fear and sex, just like your 14th birthday party. Am I right? Oh, we're back. Brand new episode, not brand new jokes. I didn't do a 6-sentence synopsis. I did a full-on big-ass synopsis. So are you ready to hear all about it?
I'm so ready.
Oh my God. Okay, so Riker has bedhead going on. So you know this episode is different, unique, something special. Riker's agitated and stressed out and oops, blooper reel. Line please, Bev. I may be surrounded by insanity, but I am not insane. Boom. He walks into a weirdo.
This is your first time talking?
I may be surrounded by insanity, but I'm not insane. Okay, so this is the best way to set up the episode. Is this ironic? No. Okay, so Riker's in a play and he's nervous. That's the episode. Cute. Okay, so cue the opening theme music. Boom. Riker has to go undercover on some planet with some issues and is giddy at having to skip the play, possibly. But Picard nails him with a dose of ice-cold reality. No, you gotta do the damn play. If you don't, then Bev will come after me. Which doesn't really say anything nice about Beverly.
No.
It makes it sound like she's a bit of a nightmare. Worf is not in the mood for nonsense. So he slices Riker's head open. But something seems off. Like, it just doesn't seem like a normal scene. And when he goes back to sickbay, Riker's like feeling more pain than really is necessary from the little nick that actually happened. And someone else comes in with real injuries and makes eyes at Riker. And you can just sense that things are like not really normal. Now he's telling Troy how weird things are and how the play, like frame of mind, they said the title, is maybe messing with his mind. Troy's like, don't be afraid of your darker side. Have fun with it. Troy, that is a very unprofessional, naughty thing to say, in my opinion. So maybe you should refer him to somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're in the play. The audience has gone wild. There's a standing ovation. They're shouting out, bravo! And Riker takes a bow, and then he sees that weirdo guy from the turbo lift earlier with like the Ferengi ear as a forehead. And then he saw him in 10 forward, and now he's there in the audience, and he tries to take a bow, and then what? He's in a prison cell? That's not the stage where he just was. So some weirdo dude is like, yeah, this is real. Like, you're not real, and Riker doesn't really know his name, and like Riker's not real, but now he's being led to believe that he isn't who we think he is, and it's total mind freak. Riker gets up to leave his cell, and there are screams and like spooky music, and it's like super depressing and messed up. It's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in space. And Riker meets a woman right away, typical. And she's like, "We're gonna escape. I have a communicator." And then, like me at most family weddings, begins speaking into a spoon, thinking it's funny. And Riker can instantly tell that she's not really like got a plan. So one of the guards is claiming that Riker killed. I mean, he mutilated someone, and Riker's yelling that he's lying, and he goes at him with his hands around his neck and gets a needle to the neck, but then wakes up in his bedroom on the Enterprise. And then Beverly's there, and Riker's talking to her about the dream he had, thinking it was just a dream, and it's all as though the play hasn't happened yet. And now it's the night of the actual play, and I'm so confused, I think, but like the weird alien dude's there again, and I'm still confused, and so is Riker. And then he went after the dude in the audience, and it was like really embarrassing to say the least. And Dr. Crusher can't find anything wrong with him, and Riker's like really pissy about it. So at this point, we're like jumping around from like, I'm in a prison, I'm in a play, I'm in a play, I'm in a prison. There's no sense.
Which is it?
Which is it? Is it up or down? Is it apples or oranges? Who knows? Riker is walking to his quarters with Troy, convinced he just needs a nappy nap. But then it falls apart again, and he's lost it. And then I got distracted, but I picked up the words reflection therapy and something about Riker doesn't want surgery. He just wants visions to stop, and he's confused, and I don't think he knows what he's asking. So now he's getting this reflection pool therapy, and images of Picard, Troy, and Worf are popping up. There's reference to being in a cold place, an alley, being chased, but now they're telling him to be strong, and he's on the Enterprise, and that they're trying to get him out of there, and that they have to trust him, and he yells out, "No!" And his like yelling out "no" it makes me think of how Alan would cry, and it's always kind of awkward,
over the top
a little bit. Now he's in the common room, and Beverly has showed up asking him if he recognizes her, and she's saying that he was undercover and then he killed someone, but it's not true, and Riker doesn't want to believe that she is real. He just says, "You're not real," which is what I say about the tiny little girl in the colonial dress that sits in the corner of my bedroom. Data and Worf break into Riker's prison room, and he fakes being injured and yells for help, thus ruining the rescue. Data kicks some ass. Data drags Riker to the pattern enhancer, and the three of them are beamed up. His parietal lobe was damaged, and he's in neural shock. Picard then tells him that he was abducted and put into a psychiatric hospital. The real story is happening, but his head keeps bleeding. So now this is not real. We get all excited that he's saved, and now it's like, why is his head bleeding again? So Riker hits Worf in the head with a briefcase or something and goes to shoot himself. And in early 90s fashion, the screen does like a shatter effect. And he's back in the alien hospital thing. And he has a knife. It's not a tricorder, it's a knife. No, it's a pen. It's a pineapple. It's a pineapple pen. His head is bleeding.
It's a pineapple pen.
Pineapple pen. And now his head's bleeding again. This little nick. Like, I get scalps bleed more, but this is ridiculous. More stuff is shattering. Nothing's real. He's going to level 16, whatever that means. And boom, now he's on the stage and he fights back, and whammy, he's in a medical room having something done, and he's in full fight mode. He contacts the Enterprise and gets beamed up lickety split. Like, it was such an easy win after all of this confusion. So now he's home, he's fixed by Beverly, and now he remembers what happened while he was undercover so he knows that, like, oh yeah, I was walking and then they try to frame me, blah, blah, blah. But before he goes to rest, he decides that he wants to dismantle the set from the play. What are they going to do with all that stuff? Is it garbage? Like, how do they deal with garbage on the Enterprise? Do they recycle? This is the real question that came for me out of the episode. So that's it. I'm still confused about whether or not the play actually happened, to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a confusing one, but it was very good. Let's get your thoughts on the episode, please.
So I completely agree with you. This is one of my favorite episodes, and I have no idea what happened. I'm paying attention. I'm like actively watching and listening. I could not describe to you what happens in this episode because I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because watching him at the opening where he's I guess he's just rehearsing with Data. But I'm like, somewhere in my mind, I also have his lines memorized. It's just amazing. Here's some thoughts. Are Troy and Riker together in this episode? Do you know? Because so when they're in 10 forward, he like kisses her on the cheek when he gets up to go. But was he just being professional because they were both in uniform? Like, I need a pop-up video on the status of these guys in every episode. I mean, at one point she even says the line, "We're your friends," but I just can't tell because it's like season 5, right?
They're never together during the series. It's not until the movie Insurrection when they kind of get together and they have that tub scene, because she hooks up with Worf, but they go on like little dates and stuff, and there's jealousy because like she got pregnant and he's like, who's the father, and then she has to get married in season 1 and he's all jealous, and then they go to like they're on the planet with the Ferengi weird flowers, that menage a trois.
Yeah. So it's
they're
like
friends with benefits. They're totally doing it this whole time.
Well, I would hope so for their own. Does anyone want to point out the weird play that Beverly wrote?
Yeah.
Like,
did she write it? Did she say that in the episode?
She either wrote it, but she's at least directing it. But like, what a weird fucking play. What's the point of the play? And it got confusing. And then I was like
looking, the Clockwork Orange or something like that. It's like a story about a guy who's like in prison and he has to confess something he didn't do. They make him think he's crazy.
I don't know. I just seem like, I don't know, like something nicer.
Well, yeah, I mean, they already have such heavy jobs. Can we get a little bit of comedy in here, please? Like like a singing and dancing. That's not Data. Like,
I know. Well,
if I was on the ship and all I saw were plays with Data, I'd be pretty much requesting a transfer.
Yeah, I'd be like, bye. I was looking up reviews of this episode and I found a very good short one that just says, is this one of those what's real stories, which I generally don't care about because it's sort of an A or B type scenario, not a huge mystery. Either it's real or it isn't. And of course, since it's an episode of TNG, we know Riker isn't crazy, so there's even less suspense. If the episode had anything going on beyond that Riker is crazy question, it might have been okay, but there isn't anything. The reasons for why he's being manipulated aren't interesting or addressed in anything other than a cursory way. Riker doesn't really have to fight his way out or learn anything. He just sort of runs down the clock yelling a lot and then is rescued.
Let me choke on my spit.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Does not change the fact that I think this is a brilliant episode. I loved it the entire time. I was texting John and I was like, this episode's amazing. And he's like, can we watch it? And I was like, are you kidding? Yes. Like, anyway, what did you think?
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would because I think this is one of those episodes, it never really stood out to me that much as like a top episode, but I remember liking it, and so watching it now I was like, oh, I love it. Like, I thought it was really good because I didn't remember it very well, so I was kind of like, I have no idea what's going on, I'm just along for the ride. I always find it funny how like you can always sense something's off as soon as you get the disheveled hair Riker.
Yeah, totally.
I'm a little disappointed it was such a low Troy episode considering it's to deal with mental health. What does she do on the ship, for crying out loud? Yeah, I liked it. It was good in a spooky kind of way. Anything involving a psychiatric hospital usually gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. All in all, I thought it was a pretty standout episode. I would highly recommend. It's a see it for me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some fast facts and goofs. Not a lot, but we're gonna talk about them. So do you want to start?
I do.
Please.
Jonathan Frakes remarked that Frame of Mind was really dark. It was a terrifying show and creepy to do. It was as big a show as any of it had to carry.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, that would be fun for an actor who's been doing the same role for 5 years, is to get to really like stretch those acting chops and do a little something different.
You know what I was thinking at the same time I was watching it, especially the scenes where it's Riker and Data on stage, was just Brent Spiner being like, why can't I have more of an acting role? I want to be more actory. Instead, I have to play an android. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I know. Um, that's why he's getting all these great parts in Picard. Now he's playing a whole host of people.
True.
He's gonna be like the next Eddie Murphy, where he does a movie and he's playing 20 different versions. The clumps. Um, anyway, Data tells Riker that he gave a very realistic performance of multi-infarct dementia, but his character's behavior is more in common with schizophrenia.
Get it right,
Duh.
Data.
Come on.
This is the second time Riker is trapped in a multi-layered simulation that challenges his memories and perception of reality. It also happened in the TNG episode Future Imperfect.
Ooh, 1990.
Good year.
Great year. This is the third time that Dr. Crusher has organized a play. Oh, she previously asked Geordi to sing some Gilbert and Sullivan for her in Star Trek The Next Generation Disaster, 1991, and held an audition in Star Trek The Next Generation A Fistful of Datas, 1992. We gotta watch Fistful of Datas next, or soon.
Let's just do it next.
Okay.
When Riker is trying to escape from Worf and Data in the hospital, why does he run towards them instead of running away from them?
Great question, Haley. Thank you. You came up with that all by yourself.
What's the answer?
Yeah. David Selberg also played the historian Wayland in the first season episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, The Big Goodbye, 1988.
Oh.
Cool.
Did not pick up on that.
That's a good episode too.
Yep, sure is. Dr. Crusher scans Riker's forehead and tells him that there is damage to the parietal lobe. The parietal lobe is at the back of the brain.
Ooh, go back to med school, Dr. Crusher. Nice. A little scary. How do you where was the editor on that one? Okay. In Star Trek Patterns of Force, among other examples, set 100 years earlier, hypospray-sized tracking devices can be implanted into the away team for the purpose of emergency transport or beaming in case of danger. Why isn't this used to keep track of Riker? Was the technology abandoned by Starfleet? That is too deep dive for me, and anybody who asks that question is just asking for me to just go like this. Ugh.
That is too deep dive for me.
That is way too deep dive for me. I'm just happy if I can remember the name of the characters that were in this episode.
No kidding.
I did do a little bit of, because this was such a standout episode, I was like, I want to see what other people are kind of saying about it. Yeah. And from StarTrek.com, there was something that was titled 6 Things to Know About Frame of Mind, but only 2 things are really interesting to me. So are Brannon Braga, who wrote the teleplay, was desperate for stories when he came up with the idea for the episode. The bare bones idea he built upon was, what if Riker wakes up in an insane asylum? And then Conway, I'm guessing that's one of the actors from the episode, has fond memories of Frame of Mind, telling StarTrek.com that it was a great script because most of it, as we learned at the end, was Jonathan Frakes' imagination. He had this wonderful scene at the beginning where he went on for about a page and a half. It was just one shot where we started tight on him and then pulled back to reveal that he was sitting in this room surrounded by all these people staring at him. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, I mean, like it's an episode that's kind of out there.
Yeah. I didn't look up to see what Dan and Bill had said about this, but I'm assuming they probably said see it because it is very strong. And you're saying see it. I'm saying see it. People tell us what you think on Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. It's been a while since we've interacted.
It's been a while. Gotta just like bookend it. Also, I just feel like it's such a iconic episode.
Yeah. It's got a song. I mean, let's be real. Yeah. I really enjoyed watching it. I think it was a good jump back into doing the podcast because we both took a long break and both said we hate the podcast, we never want to do it again, and then now we're like kind of forcing it. But I've actually had a really good time watching this episode, and I really enjoyed this podcast recording, and I'm really glad that it's going to be a really easy edit. It's going to be like 2 seconds like, moving it over, and I like the idea of doing Fistful of Datas. There's a couple other TNG episodes I've been thinking about too lately, and I'm like, oh, we should do like Yesterday's Enterprise is one of the iconic ones, or I know you really want to do Inner Light, or I was thinking my favorite of all time is Lower Decks, or the scary one Genesis, where they de-evolve into monsters. Maybe that one would be like a good Halloween theme, like October one or something.
Good idea. A creepy one. We could wear our Worf masks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, cool. I made the joke earlier that we would do the ad libs again, but I really don't want to do it.
I don't want to do them either. Yay!
Oh my god, we're so in point.
Oh yay! I love that journey for us. By the way, I'm watching Schitt's Creek again. Fudge!
It's so good. Schitt's Creek is so delightful.
It's so great.
I'm going to put that one on again after we finish doing Parks and Rec again. We're just on the second to last season of Parks and Rec. Like Cones of Dunshire was just a thing.
I don't know what that is, but
have you never watched through Parks and Rec, really?
No, I've only seen like the first couple episodes, so I just need to get on it.
It's very much the like push through first 2 seasons, and then it's like you fall in love with it. Like it's so good.
What I hear, and I already kind of like the idea of it, and like I like the cast and stuff. I just need to spend some more time.
You just gotta sit down and do it. Yeah, sit down and commit. Okay. That's it for this episode of Rewind. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you guys, and I can't wait to see folks that are in STLV if they're going to be going. Look for me. I'll be wandering around probably with a 9-inch menthol cigarette in my hand, coughing through it because I haven't smoked in years, but I'm like
totally bent in the middle.
It's bent in the middle, but it still works. I'm dragging Brad along. He'll be the guy in a car t-shirt with tattoos and In-N-Out burger socks, most likely. I know how he dresses. Haley, if you decide last minute that you just want to show up, we have a king size bed. We'll get you a cot. You can stay in the room. We're staying at Bally's. You're always welcome and invited. Ron Perlman is going to be there, so you know you may need to go say hi and get a photo op and give him a big old bear hug. Maybe we'll record right when I get back.
That sounds fun.
And I could fill you in on all of the yahoos I ran into that apparently listened to this trash, this dribble.
Oh, those poor people.
I know.
But thanks.
Yeah.
I would love to meet Ron Perlman, but I just, how it's going to go. It's going to be me like saying, hey, do you know that I got up like every morning at 6:00 and spent like an hour and a half getting ready just to like stalk the streets of downtown when we were filming here. Anyway, nice to meet you. I'm normal. Like
verbal diarrhea instantly.
Oh, it's just so bad.
Someone records it for social media and it's just a whole thing. You become a meme.
And then I trip and fall and my pants rip.
Oh man. Okay. Well, until then, remember you can subscribe to Rewind by searching for us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, among other things like our rad ass app.
Woo! If you enjoy what we're doing here on Rewind or what the other folks are doing on the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As a subscriber, you can get access to the unedited recordings of episodes, as well as exclusive content and great subscriber rewards, like our annual supporters pins from Fansets and our exclusive Trek Geeks Podcast Network t-shirt, among other things. Not monkeypox.
Not monkeypox, or that new one that just had killed 2 people in Ghana.
What?
It's one of those, it's like Ebola, but it's not Ebola. It begins with an M. And I was like, what? Hemorrhagic fever, what? But it hasn't spread. But they just said, it happened. So just let's create more fear in the news by telling people stuff they probably don't need to know about.
Cool.
Anyway, let's thank some folks for helping make us, for going through like such a roller coaster in this closeout. The really depressing news, and then all right, let's thank the amazing folks who helped make this possible. Bill and Dan, Patreon subscribers, 5-year mission, Fansets, and you, Haley, you listener. Hey, if this is playing somebody's playing it loudly in their car or in the library, you who can hear this, thank you.
It's all you.
What do you think about it? What do you want to talk about? Hit us up on Twitter. It's Trek Rewind. We'd love to hear from you. That's all I got for today, folks. Sara frequency's closed. What about yours? Haley freak. Okay. And to infinity and keep going. That's it. That's all.
Just wanted you to sit with that silent. Hey, Sara frequency's closed. How about you?
Just get up and walk away.